Hello and welcome to Two Trees Gaming. A couple of weeks ago, myself and Aaron discussed the good profiles and army lists of the new Armies of Middle-earth book that's going to be arriving in the coming months. This week we're going to be talking about the evil profiles and army lists, so we'll be looking at what they were like in the old edition and thinking about what we'd like them to become, or maybe what we think they will become. We're not going to be talking about Angmar because we've got the PDF of that and we don't think that's really going to change from what they've already provided. So it's going to be an Angmar free zone, and before we get into it, it's definitely worth saying check out the Baron of Dice. They did us a real big favour making some Two Trees Gaming dice for our Patreons. We're hoping to do the same again this year with a different type of dice, but they've got all kinds of Middle-earth stuff. They've got gaming mats. Go check out the Baron of Dice and enjoy the video.
I would like to preface all of this by saying I'm significantly more confident on the good lists than the evil ones.
My speciality is evil lists, but I pretty much only play things that are in the film. So we're on our own here. So we're going to start with Moria. So the profiles that I think we're missing at the moment is Durbers, Druzag, who is the one with the bats on his staff, the Shaman, the Dragon, which is in the old Moria list, that might be changing, Cave Drake, Prowlers and Bat Swarms. So there's actually quite a lot to go out there. Durbers is obviously the old secondary leader. He's got 12-inch Standfast, Heroic Strike, Fight Value 4, 3/2/2 on his Might Will Fate. Well, we had that.
I think he will fall into the Frecker Gothmog category of leader, because I think you're going to have a Moria list that is built around the Balrog and the Moria list that is built around... And obviously the Balrog is combat orientated, and then a Moria list that is built around the goblins, and he is going to buff them.
So Groblog used to be like roll the dice on a 4+, you give +1 fight value. I think he could be +1 fight value for 6 inches or 3 inches.
If you think about it, that's not 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to 6. 2 to 3 is... But fight value 3 used to be common.
Well, the old army bonus used to be if you outnumber them in combat, you then get an extra fight value as well. So you could get to fight 4, and don't forget Prowlers used to start at base fight 3. So you can do it, but the more I say it, the more I hate the idea of fight 4 goblins or fight 5 goblins. I don't think... But I do agree it might go down this Frecker route. Oh, you know what it'll be? Master of Battle.
I wondered about... I nearly said Master of Battle.
5+, 4+ Master of Battle, something like that. Fight value 4, no Heroic Strike, 12-inch Standfast, Master of Battle. Druzag is the one that Louis liked, where you can enrage beasts. So you can enrage the bats, enrage the wags, spiders is what obviously Louis used it on. But we've lost spiders.
Why have we lost spiders? We've not lost spiders. Spiders were never in the Moria list. They could only be taken with him and Ashrak. They were found in a different bit of the list. They were in Denizens of Mirkwood, weren't they, or something like that. So he could have leaders, spiders, and then you can have spiders in.
So then maybe he doesn't change too much.
What's he got now? Enrage Beast and... Enrage Beast, does that exist?
So Druzag at the moment has got 2 Might, 5 Will, 2 Fate, Enrage Beast and Fury. I could see him losing a Might point and a Fate point.
Definitely the Might, maybe not the Fate.
And Fury makes him, if a Moria Goblin is as a Moria Goblin Shaman was, then... Fury's a bit of a double over, isn't it? Like, it means that the Shaman isn't carving a niche for itself. I could see him losing Fury and gaining...
Yeah, I wouldn't hate him to have Shroud of Shadows.
That'd be cool.
Or even Cool Winds.
Cool Winds feels positively elven to me.
He's got the... Yeah, but that's only because that's what you think. If it's Cool Bats, you'd be all over it.
Yeah, I mean, well, you wouldn't give Cool Bats to an elf. Yeah, Shroud of Shadows, ignoring the points value and how good it is, would suit him. That'd be cool. Yeah. Okay, let's say he's going to have a spell change, and I think he's going to drop a Might. Are we in agreement there?
Yes, definitely dropping a Might. Yeah.
Because there's so much access to cheap Might in this. Yeah. He's got one good channel, one good Shroud of Shadows, and then they're off. Moria Goblin Shaman, then we kind of covered that. We don't think they'll both have Fury, but otherwise they're probably going to... I think the Shaman is needed for the Fury, unless their army bonus gives something else.
Yeah, Shaman Fury, it's a little bit powerful. Again, because you've got all the heroes.
Yeah, so you Fury the Standfast, and then their Standfast goes off, and all of a sudden you got an 18-inch.
Yeah, bubble where no goblins are running, and it's a bit like the Shaman shouldn't be that key. Like, I remember last time you had to, and you and Leon lost that Wag Rider game because of the shaman, which was fair, well played. But I remember playing a goblin shaman and being like, oh my god, I have to kill this shaman. And I remember I maybe have Legolas. I think it was Legolas, and I was just like, I've just got to pump this shaman. I have to kill the shaman, because if not, by the end of the game, nobody's going anywhere. And that's a disaster for me.
The Black Shield shaman has been dropped, and they used to have Tremor, and maybe this goblin will get Tremor because they're like underground. That would suit that, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And Tremor is still in the game, and nobody's got it, apart from Borgir will have it. So maybe these guys are going to get Tremor, and maybe your Fury buff goes, and then the army bonus is something like +1 courage when you outnumber the enemy. That's a big leveler.
I think you're going to be plus. I think they'll get similar to the Goblin Town, where it's +1 courage until you're broken.
Yeah, so it could be something like that. So then you can take your test for charge and terrifying things. The Goblin Drum will still give +1 courage.
Yeah, well, because that drum, that's going to be interesting when we get to the Balrog's Legion. Because I don't think the drum will go into it, because they've given the Legion the drum effect. So I think the drum is going to change significantly. Or you're not going to be able to take it with the Balrog. Because you can't, but it would be weird to not have it with the Balrog, because the Balrog turns up when the drums are struck.
You can't not have the drums in the Balrog list, because it's the drums in the deep that start the whole thing. Do you think they're just going to change the way the drum works?
I think they change those. I think because it is already, what it does is already in the Balrog list.
We'll skip over the dragon for a second. So we've got Cave Drake. Do you think the Cave Drake will be in the Moria list, or do you think that's going in Dragons of the North?
I think that could be in both. Don't know. It's not a dragon, is it? It's a drake.
It's a drake. I think it's going to be just in the Moria list. I'm surprised it stayed. Of all the things that were legacied, this is one of my top surprises. Great model, and I have one in the box. I'm happy about it. Any thoughts on their profile?
I think it will largely stay the same. It's fight 7 now, isn't it?
So Cave Drake, in the old edition, it's heroic strength, move 8, fight 6, strength 7, defense 7. It's only fight 6. 4 attacks, 6 wounds, courage 4, 1/3/1, might will fate. And it's got monstrous charge, terror, resistant to magic. It can put down a nest to make itself fearless. And then it's got gaping maw on a 3+, it can swallow a model whole. It's a good profile, and for 150 points, especially now the cave trolls are plus burly, it's definitely better than 2 cave trolls. I think it will go up in points, or the cave trolls will get a buff in the Moria list, maybe. Because the cave trolls are... All the other trolls got love. The cave trolls didn't get more wounds, they lost burly. They got a spear that if you roll a 6, you do 2 wounds.
Yeah, which seems pretty good.
It's pretty good, but I'd much rather have one cave drake with a might point. I mean, maybe they're not heroes and they lose their might, but I keep saying that about everything in the Moria list.
No, I don't think it'll go to fight value 7, just with the general uplift in fight value. And the eggs might change.
Yeah.
It might have a similar thing to the trolls, which would actually solve if you took an all monster list, and then actually this would tie into it going in the Dragons of the North, where it can place the eggs down to take an objective. Like the trolls put down a livestock, like a marker.
Don't hate that idea. I don't know how the eggs will work, but you would think because they come as part of the set, they will be in there. But I agree that I'm on the fence with the eggs. But I love the model. I'm really glad it's in the game, and definitely going to be taking on this edition to something. One of the models I really don't like, in fact, it's definitely my top 3 least favourite in the whole game, Goblin Prowlers.
Oh, okay. Why do you hate them?
They don't feel Moria to me. They look a little bit Warhammery. Massive axes, kind of dressed like ninjas. I don't feel like I would see them in Peter Jackson's Fellowship of the Ring. You know, in that scene where they're all scuttling around everywhere. I can't imagine them there like that. And then they're also quite powerful.
I tell you what, that's why the Goblin Shaman can't have Tremor. Because a Goblin Prowler with Backstabber, a two-handed weapon against something on the floor is absolutely murdering anything.
It's a real threat.
You can't spam them anymore if they leave them with two-handed throwing daggers. So that's you can't have just Prowlers anymore.
So do you think they'll change?
No, but could you mitigate by saying they can't be supported in combat?
I've got a rule, that exact rule written down for a model we'll come to later, but I like that for like berserkery type models. I don't know if they went up to 2 attacks and then they couldn't be supported and they were 11 points, 12 points, whatever it is, that'd be okay. And then they are like kind of elite ninja type models. Another one that I actually think needs to change is the Bat Swarm.
I think it will stay the same, but they'll get the ring rule.
Where it's only one model.
Or they become like Crabane.
I think they'll completely change and become like Crabane. They're objective grabbers. Don't forget they can't be trapped because there'll be a swarm. There'll be a beast, so they won't be able to grab objectives.
Oh, can Crabane not be trapped?
Crabane can't be trapped, yeah. So, yeah, I think the Bat Storms will go like Crabane, and their functionality in the game will change. I think it was a little bit game-breaking sometimes. Obviously, you can't do it anymore, where you watch somebody in and then bat them. But you kind of can with the Balrog.
I think it will. I think they'll either stay the same and it will go to a 1-on-1, and they will become fight value 3. Or it will, like you say, I think they'll become Crabane. The only thing with the Crabane is they're obviously they are called a Bat Swarm, but the model does not look like the Crabane.
It's still a stack of 5 bats. It's like
it's a horrible model.
It's a horrible model. It's a horrible model. That's another one they could have got rid of. Yeah.
Yeah.
But some of the Moria range just needs a little update, doesn't it? I mean, in terms of new plastic models, Moria Goblins have got to be near the top.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the Moria profiles. Let's move on to... Okay, so Easterlings then. We've got to talk about the Dragon Emperor. Do you want to know my number 1 change for the Dragon Emperor?
Oh, please tell me.
Well, I wish I'd done it with the Movement War Leader as well. I wish you could take him dismounted and have the Pelican as an upgrade.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah, not as much with the Movement War Leader because he's literally called the Movement War Leader. So what is he when he's on foot? Lost Movement War Leader.
Yeah, well, yeah, and there's no like Mahud to support him or anything like that at the moment.
That's not it at the moment. They're gone. Just throw those camels in the bin. Just do that to the camel shelf.
I've got so many camels behind me now. I also think he could do with being differentiated from Amdur, but I think those changes will come to Amdur. But they both provide banner effects, which I think is, in terms of running Easterling lists that are maybe different from each other, you don't want it to be like bubble up around the hero.
I think, but they're not going to be in the same list.
I think they'll both be in the Easterlings, but only the Dragon Emperor will be in the Dragon Emperor's.
Not sure. I think it might be 2 different ones. You know, if you think about what they did to Angmar, you've got Berda in one list, the Witch King in one list, and Gullivar in one list. They don't cross over with each other. You can't take any of those together. They could be, doing the same thing.
I don't like his +1 fight value bonus because he gives +1 fight value to everybody within 6 inches that can draw a line of sight in the old edition anyway. And that means fight value 5 black dragons that have just got a pike on the back row. It's like, I'm not a fan of that. I think that'll go completely.
There is a solution to that would be a good rule solution in general to stop some of that happening. He gives +1 fight value to an enemy that is in combat with an opponent.
Yes, that would be good.
1, you have to be an inch closer, or 2 inches. If it's pikemen, you have to be 2 inches closer. It actually shortens the effect of it, and you can't then just have 10 black dragons in the list fighting through all the time. They have to be on the front in combat.
I really like that. I don't think they'll do that, but I like it.
I don't think they'll do that. No, I don't think they do, but I think it's a good... That can be in our edition 8.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that in our 2 tweaks when they come back in our next blog. I think they might get like a reroll 1s to wound. They're adding a lot of reroll 1s. They might do that instead of +1 fight.
He could make them fearless.
He could make them fearless. I'd be fine with that.
The only thing I would say I quite like about the Palanquin is that you can't take him at low points values. I quite like that he's the Dragon Emperor, so he has to come on his Palanquin with a lot of troops. I quite like that.
Do you know the only time I've ever played the Dragon Emperor dismounted?
Really?
Yeah, I had Elendil and Gilgalad, and then I was just bouncing off them, calling a heroic combat for free with Elendil. He's like, I need to strike in defense. They didn't know what to do. So to put bodies between him, dismount the Pelican, shove the 6 black dragons between him and Elendil.
Oh, that's a great idea.
And then just started running. And then Elendil just cut through the black dragons and chopped them down. It was glorious. He's also, the last thing on him is he's defense 7. I don't get it.
No, defense 6.
Go down to defense 6. He's a glorious model though, and I'm here for it. I want him to still be good, but I think they'll tweak him a little bit. Rutabi, I don't think she'll change. Any thoughts?
5+ Master of Battle, or 4+. The Master of Battle will get one worse, because it generally has across the board.
I'll go for that, yeah, because like
Gothmog's got worse, Azog's has got worse, Bane has got worse, so yeah, I think she'll go down.
You think she'll still get re-rolling wounds when the enemy's trapped? Because does anybody remember she has that?
Well, except it combines really well with Tremor. Again, you're setting that up. She's then like...
Nice.
Maybe not.
Okay, I'm happy for it.
Yeah.
So the next two models are the Easterling War Priest and Brogear. So the War Priest is a 1 attack with 1/3/1 Might, Will, and Fate, and he's got Blade Wrath and Fury, whereas Brogear is 80 points, 2/5/2 Might, Will, Fate. He gets a point of will back when he casts a spell on a 6. He's got Blade Wrath, Fury, Enchanted Blades, and Tremor. I think those two are going to have to separate out a little bit to make space for both. I don't know how you feel about that.
I think you could see something getting Flame Burst.
I thought that with the Easterlings. I thought exactly that.
I think Brogear will definitely only have one of Blade Wrath or Enchant Blades. Except the model was made recently. So...
Yeah, in fact, I was going to say I disagree because he could be like the one that powers them up and then the other guy's got Fury. But actually, you can't ever use them together because you can only cast one spell a turn. So it makes sense to give one Blade Wrath, one Enchanted Blades, and then you can kind of work together to power up your Rutabi to do some serious damage.
Amdor on a horse, knocking stuff over, re-rolling wounds at strength 6.
Maybe. The other named hero we've not tackled then is Amdur. And I think he is set for a change.
He's got a lot of rules. I took him to the Throne of Skulls, and oh my god, so many rules. So many special rules.
And some that activate and change when he's killed the enemy general and things like that.
Yeah. Oh my god, no.
At the moment, or in the old edition, he's fight value 6, strength 4, defense 6, 3 attacks, 3 wounds. 3 Might, 3 Will, 1 Fate. His rules then, he's got an Elven Made Hand and a Half Sword, Blood and Glory, which used to get you a point of Might back when you killed a hero, can't be knocked over while standing, he can be supported by pikes with phalanx, he'd get Gleaming Horde, which is shield wall with cavalry. He's a banner, and if he kills the enemy leader, that extends to 6 inches. And if he's in combat with an enemy hero who strikes, he gets a free heroic strike. That is a lot going on there.
So much going on.
So, do you think he'll stay at fight 6?
I think he'll be fight 7, but I think Rutabe will stay at fight 6 because she was always a fight value too high.
Fight 7, I agree. Strike and challenge, yeah, agree.
Is Elven Blade's gone? It's not. How has he got an Elven Blade? What's happened there?
Hang on, I could read you the flavour text of the blade, which I've never read before. Let's go for it. This long, slender blade was a gift to Amdor from the Dragon Emperor. Some say the Emperor found it long ago in an elven hoard.
Okay.
Does the Dragon Emperor have one of those?
Yeah, he's got an
The
Elven
Emperor's
Blade.
Glaive is an elven-made spear that you can use the Feint Special Strike, and you can shield with it. Maybe you'll be able to shield.
Oh, he's going to lose Blood and Glory.
Yeah, that General Hunter.
Might get General Hunter, but...
That makes him the ultimate General Assassin if he's getting a free heroic strike. That's his thing, the strike. I think he keeps that as well. I think he loses his banner. That's the same as the Dragon Emperor. You either lose the banner and drop points, or make it reroll ones.
I think he might be... he might keep the additional banner rule where if he kills the General, it becomes a banner. Bit like Frecker.
Yeah, which then ties in with the General Hunter and the free heroic strike.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it is all kind of bit part. He'll keep the Gleaming Horde. He'll keep Phalanx. Why does he not get knocked prone when he's standing?
Yeah, well, he's
not a hashery. Like, I get that with the ninjas, but...
It's the same as Rutabi.
Dragon Knight, I think, has it as well, doesn't he?
Speaking of, Dragon Knight will stay exactly the same. Except he'll lose Blood and Glory.
Yeah, so instead of Blood and Glory, I'm going to make my pitch. Ready, brace for impact. Here's my pitch. Free heroic combat when they're outnumbered. Chuck them in, troop killers.
Yeah.
I don't think there'll be any other changes. I do agree. I think it'll stay the same.
Oh, how many mites he got?
2 might, and they're only fight value 5, which I think fight value 5 is worse now. They'll stay at fight value 5, I think, but lower points. Because you don't see them quite enough, I don't think. And they'll definitely lose blood and glory. Definitely.
They're then light on might, aren't they? I think they'll be fight. Yeah, but they've got to be fight 6 because there's too many troops to fight 5. He's then having to heroic strike to kill anything. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends how they angle them. If Amdor's the general killer and the hero killer, they could be troop killer, or they could be mini Amdors.
Yeah, but he's not killing troops at fight. At fight 6 with no heroic strike is all right. Then he's a troop killer because you can't then put him into heroes. That's the way to force the troop killer theology.
But I like Dragon Knights. I'm happy to see them in the game.
I mean, just so you know that they're crap.
Here's all your crap with them. Well, I think a Black Dragon will have their own profile. I don't think there'll be an upgrade to an Easterling. I think it'll be like, the Emperor can lead Black Dragons, Dragon Knights can lead Black Dragons.
Or Black Dragons get shield wall.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Stop taking my points. That's what I was going to say. Black Dragons get shield wall. And then you got to put them on the front.
They could be +1. They could be... Their fight value 4.5.
Oh, like Theoden.
They get Theoden or Boromir, and that's what the Dragon Emperor gives them.
Oh, that would be good. Yes. For Leon's sake, please tell me how. Not what you think they're going to do for cataphracts. How are they going to make cataphracts better? What is going to make them better?
Ideally, I think for him to do anything with his cataphracts, they need to be able to use a catapult. That would really help him out.
Because then the model doesn't suggest I'm getting +1 strength on the charge. The model, if they go fight 4 with Eastlings, and they'll get Gleaming Horde, but it's not enough.
There is something to be said about horses that if you gave the horse Gleaming Horde as well, defense 6 and defense horses and defense 7 warriors on horse. There is definitely some argument there to be said.
Talk to me in practice how the horses are linking their shields.
No, because it's not. It's just Gleaming Horde.
When the cataphracti charge, they do so in a thundering wedge, sunlight gleaming from the scales of their armor. Has anybody ever read that? Has anybody read all the flavor text in all the books?
That to me is +1 to wound.
Are you joking? It says sunlight gleaming from their scales. That's -1 dual roll for the opponent.
Oh God, that's what Leon's going to need to make that less competitive.
Yes, he is. Look forward to Throne of Schools video coming to you soon. Right, there's 2 models left for Eastlings. Runish Wardrake.
I think there is a big thing on that. If they knew what that model looked like when they did the old rules, the rules won't change. If they didn't, it could just be anything. Because it could be this big, it could be this big.
You've hit the nail on the head, though. It must mean we're getting a model.
Yes. Well, yeah. I mean, Catapult Troll has changed literally everything.
And Bolg and Imrahil. That is a plastic book character, a Catapult Troll from 10 years ago, and a Bolg. I love the scattershot approach. So the Wardrake, we don't know anything about the profile, but we're happy it's coming. And then the Dragon Cult Acolyte. Their fight value 4, strength 3, defense 4, 2 attacks, 1 wound, courage 4. They got throwing daggers. They can't be knocked over while standing, and they get +2 to jump, leap, and climb tests, and they ignore in the way strikes against barricades.
They're going to get light armor, and then they might not change.
Instead of armor or defense 4.
No, defense 4 with light armor.
I think the armor will stay the same. Ooh. They have to go up to strength 4. They're buff. Those models are buff. They have to go to strength 4.
Are they as buff as a berserker?
They look like an Uruk-hai. I mean, that is a buff boy.
Is he making your 12 months buff boys calendar?
Is he in my top 12 buff models of Middle-earth? Let me think. I'm staying there sneaking in number 11. Patreon exclusive video, top 12 buff boys of Middle-earth. But I don't like them at the front of a pipe block. It doesn't make sense. You've got all these armoured Easterlings behind and these ninjas at the front. I would make them not be able to be supported, or they only go down to their 2 attacks while not supported. They're 1 attack if they're supported, something like that.
But again, they're limited to a 3rd again.
Oh, because they got thrown. Yeah, but that's a pipe problem still. That's perfect. That's perfect. So for me, I'm keeping the points value the same, putting them up to strength 4, and I'm making it so that they only have 1 attack if they're supported by pipe. Like, they're not experienced in fighting that way. But I like them, love the models. So the next faction is Harad, and you've got Suladan, Raza, Hashery, and Serpent Guard and Serpent Riders. They'll be one now.
Raiders aren't in the book.
Oh, Raiders as well. Then that's just me messing up my list. Yeah. So Suladan is obviously going to be leading most Harad armies. What do you think he's going to change? He was obviously a hugely competitive model in the previous edition, but that was largely when paired with the Witch King. He would get your banner points and that kind of thing. You can't really do that now. You know what? You can pair him with the Witch King still. It'll be in the Legions of Mordor list, won't it? 'Cause that's Pelennor Fields.
Yes, but the Witch King's now more of a tax. Because that Witch King's 180 points.
Yeah, I think he'll still have re-rolling wounds. I still think he'll be 3 attacks. I actually really like the Suladan profile. I think there's one simple change. I think he's too cheap. That's it. He was 115 or something like that. Make him 130, 135.
And his horse is now 20.
And his horse is more expensive.
Might get a named horse.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd be happy with that if he got a named horse and gave him a little bit of something. But yeah, I like the model. I like the glass cannon aspect, risk reward. He's got to stay at the back, but he wants to be at the front. It's good. Raza is the hero who's got 3 attacks, can reroll all failed wounds, and gets +2 fight value against a specific nominated hero at the start of the game that you do in secret, which I love that element, doing things in secret.
I think they might give him +1 to wound against them instead.
What about, this is not what I want, but this would be in keeping with the new rules. You write down the nominated hero. If he kills that hero in combat, you get a victory point.
Ooh.
So it goes to fight value 5, doesn't get any buffs against them, but if he kills that hero, victory point.
No, because Suladan's a banner, so they're already getting victory points. Those victory point things are to boost lists that don't have access to them. Smaug, Goblin Town.
Ranger of Athelion can have a banner, and Frodo and Sam.
That's why Alessandro did well won the GT. Not why. I assume he's a better player than me. But
yeah, no one was comparing him to you until you said that. We know he's a better player than you. He's also a better player than the 13 players that finished ahead of you.
yeah, but he's only 13 better than me. He's 58 better than you.
Oh, God. Can he be our captain? Can Alessandro be captain?
Look, all I'm saying is me, Alessandro, Connor, and Louis are winning team.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm a plucky underdog now. I'm lovable. I've become lovable. It's fine.
I don't think you've become. I don't think that's what the comments are saying.
Hashery. Love the models.
Yeah,
but you don't. I don't think you see them enough.
The only thing I would say is, with the general decrease in might, the fact they've only got 1 might point has actually made them is a sleeper improvement. You know, I'm picking 1,000-point lists that have got 12 points of might, 10 points of might, 9 points of might sometimes, and I'm like, that's it. That seems like enough now. So you weren't taking them before because you needed the captain to have the 2 points of might. Now that there is generally less might on those type of heroes, I think it's less important.
I absolutely agree with that. I think they need a tiny points reduction, or a rule whereby, I'm thinking thematically here, they're assassins. They're going to go and kill one hero and be done. So a rule like Raza's, where you get extra fight against heroes.
Except they're not good against heroes. The troop killers. 3 attacks, can't be trapped.
Well, I'm thinking keep it the same, but give them a heroic strike. Only use up their might on a 4+. So on a 4+, they get their might back after a strike. So they've only got the 1 shot at it, but they can get it back. So they try, or in a 1v1. So if you manage to isolate it, so it's a Hashery versus a hero, they could get, +1 to wound.
Oh, could they be an assassin? Could they appear?
Yeah, you pitching another ambush rule for somebody? You just pitch an ambush rule. Oh, I think they'll get dominant.
Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, you think dominant?
Serpent Guard and Serpent Riders. I think that's 1 profile now that they'll get an upgrade. They're pretty self-explanatory. Sticking at fight 4. And do you think that I think they'll get Bodyguard?
Yeah, and they will only be able to be led by Suladan. Suladan will be the only person that can lead them as well.
Oh, you know what? It could be like a Palace Guard Thranduil thing. So I think they'll get Bodyguard, and maybe they get +1 fight within 6 of Suladan. That encourages you.
I definitely need that to be 6 because I've got 13 of them.
Yeah, well, it's 6 inches or whatever, yeah. But it encourages you to be... Suladent has to be near the front line.
Yeah.
With lancers, with poison weapons, with bodyguard. That's pretty good. So maybe something like that. Okay, we've got Corsairs next then.
Yeah.
So you've got Dalimar, Delgamar, the Arbalester, and then I'm going to include in that Black Númenórean Marshals, Black Númenóreans, and then what is now the Black Númenórean Knights that used to be the Morgul Knights.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, forgot we've got all that.
Yeah, so which is quite cool because Umbar is I love the actual armies of Umbar.
Yes.
I'm not sure too much will change though, for me. Dalimar, I've never been a fan of his smoke bombs. I don't love the idea I just don't love you can smoke bomb a Balrog. I'm going to smoke bomb a troll. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel right. If it's a troll, it's just stepping through the smoke.
I think well, can you not remember when I one-shotted your Gundabad troll with it?
You did. That's why I don't like it. That's legit. That's the only time I've used that Gundabad troll against Dalimar. One turn, done.
I think you should. I think you'll keep them. It's just what they do.
He's holding it. He's got to have. They've got to do something.
It might just be that it doesn't make strikes, like the new transfix.
Yeah.
But then that's a bit. You just keep doing that.
Oh, do you know what it could be? Do you know what I would like it to be? I've just thought this, and I would absolutely love it. Are you ready? Because there's no model with a rule like this in the game.
Okay.
He can use the smoke bomb to roll a dice. Same deal. On a 1, you lose your smoke bombs. It doesn't go off. On a 4+ or 5+, maybe 5+, he can disengage from combat.
Yeah. How does that function though? What does he do?
You can just you roll the dice on a 5+.
Oh, it's like somebody makes way.
Well, you would be able to move your spearmen anyway. If they've charged you in a way that you can't physically move out of combat, you can't.
So I thought you meant you would do this in the fight phase or the shoot phase.
No. Sorry, on the move phase, they've charged you, and then it's still your move phase. In your move phase, in his activation, you roll the dice 5+, then you can just move.
The easier way to do it, because this mechanic does exist, is you can swap places with another model.
That as well. That would be good. Yeah.
Because that's what Grinner's got it, and Philly and Killy have got it.
I would much rather see that, and I like that for him being a glass cannon. His defense 4, he's only got 1 fate, I think.
3 fate. Yeah, he's like a Astro.
Well, his defense 4, 3 fate. Yeah. I could see that staying the same.
Yeah, I really hope that the Corsairs can still take Hashery. That'd be a good. I really like those. I've got a Corsair army here that I need to paint up.
But otherwise, I really like his rules. I think it's good. Maybe he could have just pitching this now and same with Hashery. They could have a leap attack when they charge in. They move 8 inches or something like that. It could be quite cool. But you don't need it. It just came into my brain.
They don't do stuff like that. If you give it to anybody, you give it to Gimli.
Yes. Gimli should have that. Yeah. Plus 2 inches when he charges. Delgamar, he's the one that can whip and make them reroll. I like that as well. He has 3 attacks, which always surprised me.
I think when you're defense 4 or 5, you need the attacks to make sure you don't lose the combat.
Or 3.
Oh, yeah. I think you need the attacks to just because you can't lose a combat. You've really got a problem if you lose a combat in your defense 4.
Yeah, I agree with that. He could go down to 2 might as well, but I don't think he will. I think he'll stay as he was.
He might do. Yeah, general. Yeah, again, there's been a lack of drop in might in the game.
Of course, the Arbalesters I don't think will change, and I like the risk. Not the risk word, but I like their rules where they've got the shooting defense, but in combat they're not very good.
Yeah.
I'd like to see them go up a point. Maybe. I know that Corsairs have had a massive debuff this edition, but spamming Arbalesters was never that fun to play against. I'd rather see them get a really good army bonus. So Black Númenórean Marshals, Black Númenóreans, and then the new Morgul Knights, which are the Númenórean Knights. I don't think they'll change, except that they'll be significantly more expensive. It used to be 8 points for a Black Númenórean on the front row.
I think it's Dolanroth with Terror.
Maybe 2 more points, but yeah.
2 more? No, that'd be too expensive. It'd be 24 points for a...
I'd pay 2 points for Terror.
No. Terror's a point. But Bodyguard's a point, Terror's a point.
The thing is the list that it can now go in as well. You can't...
Well, what list is it going in?
Well, guess we'll come to that in a minute, because we've got not much left. I'm just going to group these together now, because we've seen most of Uruk-hai and Mordor in the film book. But you've got the Uruk Shaman, the Mordor Orc Shaman, the Siege Bow, and the Isengard Troll. I don't know why I said that in that order. but again, we think Shamans might change, be a bit more unique, but I can't see much change in there.
I think the Uruk Shaman might be the one that maintains Fury, because that doesn't affect the Uruks as much. Because they're high courage.
Agreed. And I think the Uruk Shaman might have Blade Wrath, something like that. That could be quite cool.
Except then that makes Berserkers really, really good.
Kinda like it, but I would hate to play
Yeah, I kind of because you're not doing that to the cat. I would put a shaman into that legion I took to the GT, and I would be like, I'm not doing it to my captain, doing it to Berserkers because they've already got +1 to win. The Berserkers.
What do you mean not doing it to captain? You don't take any captains. You just take a load of shamans.
Yes, that's true.
Just get power loads of Berserkers. And then the Orc Shaman will be the standard one, I think, which Fury and Transfix. I don't think that one will change.
Ooh. Do you not?
Or do you think they might get Instill Fear or something?
I think they might get something. I'm just having a quick flick through the spells, seeing what there's not a lot of.
Banishment.
Curse. I think there'll be a bit of curse kicking about. They seem to be putting that in.
So then you got the Isengard Troll. It's just defense 8 Troll, isn't it? Mordor Troll.
I was going to take one and give it a spear and then just have it fighting through a captain, because that would absolutely... Can you imagine if you charge me and then suddenly you now find a fight 7 captain?
Yeah, you know what I'd rather fight? Or not prefer to fight? A fight 7 Troll. Just put the Troll on the front line.
No, because the point is you then know who's fighting it. If he's behind, you don't know who's going to have to fight it. Because it moves. As
a Gil-galad player, Gil-galad is my number one main boy. My Muslim man of Middle-earth, he is number one. I think I fought through and supported with Gil-galad maybe one time. And it's the same principle. I like it in principle, it doesn't work. But a Defense 8 Mordor Troll in this edition is something to be feared.
Yeah, I might make one actually, because I quite like the metal model.
Is there a metal Isengard Troll?
It is. I'm going to say that Metal Isengard Troll is as good as Cave Troll doing this.
No, it's not. Cave Troll doing that's the best thing ever. No.
It is. Google it now.
No.
It has a so it's just plodding forwards. It has a stoical, nice nature to it.
A stoic. I don't want my trolls to be stoic.
It is like I'm just not going to stop walking here, and you're just going to bounce off my shoulder. I like that.
Okay, and then it's Ruffians. We've got the Ruffian warrior, Lotho, who's an evil hobbit, Ted Sandyman, evil hobbit, Bill Fernie, who is can give -1 to an enemy warband in Maelstrom, which is cool, and he hates hobbits. Rowan Thistlewood, who is the one who can burn terrain. Sid Briarthorn, who causes terror in hobbits, is a banner to other Ruffians but not himself, and has a club. And then there's the two main ones, Sharky and Worm. Ignoring Sharky and Worm, do you think any of those will change?
No, because I think they are designed to only play hobbits. I think that is a list it's part of the Scaring the Shire. I think the hobbits have it a little bit, but I think because there are so many characters there, it is different. I think that is a list that is like, we don't really want you taking this to a tournament. It is designed for thematic.
I couldn't agree with you more, except now we've got a lot less army lists in the game.
Sounds like you could agree. It sounds like you could agree with me more than.
Now we've got less army lists in the game. I think they will try and make it competitively viable, and they're going to make it so you're not taking 150 Ruffians.
Yeah.
They might take slight points increases. Yes, you want to be able to play it in Scouring the Shire. They might all get a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it's super intelligent. I don't know. But like Bill Fernie might be clever. And he might have an intelligence thing where he can pull you out by talking to you. A little extra rule here and there to stick 15 points on them, and all of a sudden 3 of them being 15 points more is like 9 or 10 less Ruffians.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think by the same merit, I think Sharky and Worm will get better. I think Sharky, at the moment, let me get his stats up because he's absolutely rubbish. So it's 60 points for both of them at the moment. I think Sharky will end up 80 just on his own kind of thing.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So he's fight 4, strength 4, defense 4, 1 attack, 2 wounds, 1/4/1. He's got channeling. After a model resolver strikes against Sharky, if they fail a courage check, he does a strength 4 hit on them. And if Sharky is reduced to 1 wound and has no fate remaining, Worm becomes an enemy model and must move towards Sharky. And if he's slain, he reverts to being friendly, so Worm is out to get him. And then Worm, if no other models can see him, he can sneak up and boost his fight value and attacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think he's only got Immobilise and Terrifying Aura with 4 will.
Yeah.
I can see him getting some kind of... He's convinced all these people, turn on the Shire.
Aura of Command would be quite good for the Ruffians.
Here's my pitch to you, and I haven't planned this in advance. I'm going to give him Aura of Command I like.
Yeah.
Instill Fear, I think, would be quite good. But then you've got to be able to cause terror, so it's only really going to work on him.
Yeah.
Or maybe when people are broken. He could maybe get Flame Burst, but I don't think so. I think he'll go to 252.
Saruman has Flame Burst. Yeah, so...
That's what I mean, Saruman does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's give him Flame Burst. Let's keep his points going. 252. And I think he was going to get a rule, something to do with Saruman's voice. He's not as powerful as he was, but he's still got something. And I'm going to say he picks the model within 12 inches of him, and for the turn, that model counts as a banner. So he's like standing at the back, casting his spells, and his banner there. This turn, there's a banner there.
No. You pick a model that takes an intelligence test, an enemy model, that enemy model can't move.
That's something like that. Yeah, that I prefer. And then Worm, I think, will become... He's still going to be bundled in with him.
Yeah.
But it's going to be like... If he's within 6 of Sharky's... No, in fairness, it needs to be the opposite, doesn't it?
I mean, allegedly, he ate one of the hobbits.
And do you think he could do what Shelob does? Eat one of your own friendly Hobbit models, and then boost your attacks value. Yeah. Okay, and then the Ruffians themselves are 5 points. I think just put them 6 points.
Yeah, shit, that one.
6 points, but we'll give them light armor. They're terrible, but makes them... You can't just shoot them to pieces. So we're not talking about Angmar, but the legions then that we've got to talk through. We've got the Army of the Great Eye, Sharky's Rogues, Moria, Dragons of the North, Easterlings, the Host of the Dragon Emperor, the Serpent Horde, Umbar, and the Grand Army of the South. Let's start with Moria. The old Moria bonus was you get +1 to your fight value if the opponent's trapped. I don't think it'll be that anymore.
Yeah, I don't think it's got any... The fight value 2 to 3 doesn't matter anymore. I suppose if you then put in a captain, you're going 3 to 4, but I mean, it's a lot of work to have a captain kill somebody.
Yeah, unless Durbers ends up with another +1, or you've got Prowlers that then go up to fight 4. This is what I'm saying. I don't love this Goblins matching the value of a Ministerius, even though I know it's meant to be kind of swarmy. It doesn't feel right to me. I'd like it them to get the old Mordor bonus, where if you've got more models on the board, you get +1 courage and reroll 1.
Yes. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
The only other thing I'd like as well is a reason to take a Cave Troll. There's definitely reasons to take a Watcher. The Balrog might not be in it, but you'd take that. Cave Drakes are great. I was wondering maybe they could get +1 fight if they're within 3 inches of a monster, something like that, and then maybe you've got a reason to take cheaper monsters. I'm not sure though. I'd like to see the Cave Trolls just get a buff. I wish Cave Trolls had a rubbish version of Blubbery Mass. 5+ save. Because that Cave Troll in Moria just takes a beat.
They're too easy to one-shot, the Cave Trolls. Like, I've done it a few times.
And they still are, because they're still 3 wounds.
Yeah.
And they're only fight 6. Every other monster got more wounds, or better, or more whatever.
Yeah.
The Cave Troll didn't, the poor things.
No, but then they are cheaper. How many points is the Cave Troll? 75.
75, whereas a Mordor Troll's 90. You get a troll chain, and the spear's decent, but yeah. But Moria doesn't need a big buff. It's got lots of different things, hasn't it? Lots of different choices. I think if they do degrade the bats, then maybe the army buff will go up, but yeah. Okay. Serpent Horde. In the previous edition, you could get 50% bows, and everybody got poison weapons. I would just like them to lean to not into 50% bows, or this is the one where they do lean into 50% bows, and the Grand Army of the South is more Moonwicks and cavalry and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But they've lost Watchers of Karna, they've lost the Golden King, they've lost Abrakan Guard. They are worse. I could see it getting something, and it is called the Serpent Horde. Is it going to be something to do with Suadan getting a bonus? One of these, like every other army, has a legion where their leader is the focal point. Saruman's got one. The Dragon Emperor's going to get one. Aragorn's got a couple. What's Suadan going to get in the Serpent Horde that's going to make this list better? Could he do a pseudo betrayer and give a Bane of Kings?
Yes.
Because they've lost the betrayer. So everybody within 6 inches rerolls all failed wounds. Maybe not from shooting, or maybe has to spend a will point to activate it.
Yeah.
Could be something like that. Because you've lost your betrayer.
Yes.
Because even Harad's standard has got 3 heroic combats on a Mumik. We've not pitched anything out of the box here.
You know what? Hashray is going to get Knife Fighter.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Your Easterling Dragon Court might get Knife Fighter too. 1 attack, but Knife Fighter. When not supported.
Yes. When not supported. So the one that's similar to the Serpent Horde is the Grand Army of the South, where you had to take a Mumik and then either the War Leader or Suladan. You got a 3 heroic strike or combat against the enemy leader. And then otherwise, it was just a combination of the regular army bonuses, but it was Far Harad, which is obviously Mavud, and Harad. It's got to be different this time because you've lost the entirety of the Mavud line. Otherwise, it's just going to be the same as Harad, which has already got a 3 heroic combat with its Mumuks when you're not fighting the leader.
Where do the Corsairs come from?
That is exactly it. At the moment, how do you ally Harad and Corsairs? Umbar is in the south. Is the Grand Army of the South now going to be a Corsairs Harad alliance?
I think Umbar, because there is a Corsair list, which is a bit weird.
Corsair fleets, which is you get the 3 ballista shot. Then there's Umbar, and then there's this Grand Army of the South, which may or may not be. And then, that.
Well, so what's interesting is the Corsair fleets can't have Delamar in because their bonus is the 3 ballista shot, but also their leader captain gets fearless sharpshooter, 3 attacks and 3 wounds. So that Corsair fleet doesn't have Delamar in it, I think we can infer.
Or Delgamar.
So then what I was going to pitch was Umbar, is that's where your Black Numenorians are. But then the trade-off with that would be that Delamar goes into the Corsair fleets. But then I don't think that can happen. I think like that, I don't know how that's all going to interact.
It depends how it's phrased. If it says the Corsair captain, that is your leader, gets 3 attacks, you might be able to take Dalamar or Delgamar, and then you don't get that benefit.
The Corsair fleet's army must always contain a Corsair captain who is always the army's general. So that army can't have a named character in it.
No, but then I was going to agree with you, and then Umbar would have been Black Numenorians. Now, Army of the Great Eye, I think, will be Black Numenorians.
Oh.
But that'll be with Mordor.
I just disagree with that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll come to that in a minute then. So, Umbar, though, we think there'll be Black Numenorians in there,
yes.
And all the named characters.
Yes, yeah. I think that's the only way you can do that.
And then Umbar, let's just pivot to Umbar instead of Grand Army in the South for a second then. Umbar's previous bonus was that they all get Backstabber. Umbar's had a massive debuff as well because they're all defense 3 now. They can get light shields and light armor, and only a third of them can have thrown weapons. All of that is just an absolute crapshoot.
You know what? That is your light armor is a bigger debuff than you think as well. Because what they used to do was a defense 3 model would Aragorn charge the defense 3 model, and they just throw throwing daggers at the defense 3 model and kill it in on 4s. That is now always 5s, whether they have a shield or not.
That's actually very true. And so I think Umbar is wanting a buff. It's wanting like a really good, decent thing. And then they've not got this big leader. You know, it's not going to be Master of Battle for Dalamar. That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, their thing is they sail on boats. And then the only thing we know from them is that they get butchered by Aragorn twice. Once as Thorongil and once on the way to Pelennor. But they're obviously arriving to assist at the Battle of Pelennor. They could easily get +1 and -1 Maelstrom, ambush, alert style rules.
Yeah, I think that's in there. Yeah, we just keep pitching that is the problem.
We do keep pitching that.
Dominant
2 for everybody. Yeah. Treasure, pirates, could it be something to do? Fighting around objectives, a bit like the Wildmen got.
Ooh, yes, I like that. Yeah, +1 to wound. Instead of backstabbers, +1 to wound random objective.
Yeah, I agree with that. And there are things like some models have got if you're like Nori, if you're carrying an objective, he gets something.
Oh, +1 to wound as well if somebody's carrying an objective.
+1 to wound against them if they're carrying an objective, yeah. That could be good. That would lead into the pirate thing, which I don't hate. And I'm it doesn't. Yeah, that's okay. So we'll say for Umbar then that they're going to get +1 to wound around objectives and +1 to wound against models carrying objectives.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. I think that's quite cool.
And do we think Grand Army of the South then is going to be a combination of Harad and Umbar? And if so, why would you take the other ones? You know what I mean? Do you think it's just going to be like a chuck out a reroll ones and you've got more stuff to pick from?
Potentially, yeah.
I think it is going to be something like that. I'm not getting super excited for that one.
Yeah. No, I think that's going to be a Defenders of the Pelennor type thing.
Not sure on that.
Yeah, treat mimics as a banner.
Yeah. Different movement bonuses.
Yeah, yes, that would be a nice way to do it.
So that's a nice way to do it. So these mimics are like a symbol of, right, they're a banner, that kind of thing. Whereas the other ones, it's let's just go and smash.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And it's still about mimics. Then you've got 2 mimic lists, which is cool, because they're some of the most iconic models in the game.
And the mimic counts as a banner.
Oh, so you got to try and bring the mimic down.
So you have to bring the mimic down. Except then you've got that thing that the guy on Reddit did that is just exacerbated even worse.
Which is where he smashed into his own models to get a 4-3 win in Destroy the Supplies because he had a banner. Yeah. I like that. I think that's good though. Have the mimic count the banner and have it means then if you've got Sullivan and a mimic, you're never getting the banner points. But the assumption is when the match play guide comes out, there'll be less banner focus.
And that's a big point set as well.
Yeah. Although the movement will have dominant, so it'll be less of an issue needing models on the floor. Or has dominant. Okay. I like that. I think that's good. It could be that they stampede less and things like that as well. +1 stampede checks, that kind of thing.
Everybody wants to stampede.
Alright, we've just got a few more. Let's do a fun one. Dragons of the North.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about the dragon at all. So the dragon at the moment in the old edition, fight 7, 2+ shoot, strength 7, defense 7, 4 attacks, 7 wounds, courage 4. They can channel, strike, strength, and defense. And they've got Harbinger of Evil, monstrous charge, resistant to magic, survival instinct, and they cause terror. And then they can pick up to 2 of fly, increase their defense, cast magical powers, or breathe fire.
So I think the picking is going to go because the model has wings. So it's going to have fly.
Do you think Smaug is going to be in it?
Yes, but not. You don't have to take him.
Yeah.
And I would also add in Jealous of Power. They can't benefit from any. No dragon can benefit from any other model's heroic moves or heroic actions.
Interesting.
To then be like, right, you can have Smaug with something else, but it gets worse. It doesn't have the dominant.
He doesn't have the loot rules. He doesn't have the dominant presence where he just takes any objective.
Because that's his army bonus. Yeah. When I first read it, I was thinking, yep, Smaug's going to be in it. And then somebody said in the comments on the video where the book got announced, oh, I think they'll be like the Ents, the dragons. And I thought, actually, that's a great idea. So I think I agree with you that they're going to be stuck with fly because the model's got wings. But then you'll be picking, do you also want increased defense, breathe fire, or worm tongue?
We've got fledgling eagles. Are we going to get fledgling dragons?
Well, they're not a new model, though.
No, but are we going to get young dragons?
Well, could the Runish War Drake be in there, or Cold Drake, or whatever, or Cave Drake?
Yeah.
But until you just said that, I thought Smaug wouldn't be in it, because I read the comments. But why would they give Smaug an army bonus? When in the previous edition, it literally said, Smaug needs no army bonus. They've given him one in this one, and they seem to want most armies, apart from Assault on Ravenhill. I think that's the only one to be able to get to 1,000 points. Because Road to Ravenhill is going to get Tom Bombadil and Goldberry, so that'll get to 1,000.
Yeah, well, it's only at 5, unless they're 250 points each. It's not going to be 1,000 points.
Next you get Glorfindel.
Okay. Yes, okay.
And then the Shire will get Hobbits. So then...
Well, except you say that, the Black Riders can't be 1,000 points. They can only be 1,020. So there's not been that much thought gone into that. That's all I'd say. I don't know, I might be wrong, but...
Yeah. But why would they have given an army bonus, though? That is the point.
No, I agree. That's what I think. Yeah, that's why he's in that. That's why he's in that list. You're trading those army bonuses.
And if you bought a Smaug, you should be able to use them in a couple of lists. Right, we've got the Easterlings. The previous edition, that was when the army's broken, they get +1 courage, and then they can, if the dice is rolled 1 or a 2 to end the game, they can choose whether to. They've got great options, the Easterlings. It's a nice little unique army bonus. But I want Amdor to get something. He's lost his Kamul, and the Emperor's got his own legion. Amdor needs his time.
Kamul was shit. That's done him a favour. That has 100% done it. That is the best model I've got. Conversion, and he was useless in every single game.
Are you going to change that to be a regular ring wraith, or are you going to keep it as
No, just use him. Yeah, I'll use him as a regular ring wraith.
I think they'll stick to. You think they're just going to get like a reroll ones within 6 of a hero kind of thing? Yeah. So what? Well, so in the Dragon Emperor's Legion, at the moment, they get 3 Black Dragon upgrades, and then they also get the regular Easterling bonuses, which is the +1 courage and end in the game, and then heroes get to re-roll a d6. That's what they get at the moment. I think all of those bonuses will go.
Okay.
Because they'll want to separate out Easterlings from the Dragon Emperor, and then the Black Dragons, I think, will be their own model, so you can't be giving them for free. So I think this is where you give your +1 to wound to Black Dragons within 6 of the Dragon Emperor. And it's just like something like that, basic, but actually that's like, wow, that's one great rule.
Yeah.
He could get all the buffs though. It could be 6 inches round, +1 to wound, fearless, like that. And it's just like, boom, put your Dragon Emperor down, Balrog level of stuff. Okay, and then we've got, how many left have we got? Just 2. Yeah. So we've got 2 left. We've got Sharky's Rogues.
Nobody cares about Sharky's Rogues.
So I actually love Sharky's Rogues. I actually have 50 Ruffians. They're all converted from other companies and things like that. But 50 unique Ruffians ready to go, so we could play Scouring of the Shire on your Shire board. So I am one of the few people that cares about the Ruffians and their army bonus. I want them to get something really good to bring so that they can then up the points of Ruffians in general, so that I can put 80 down and not need 150.
Okay. What you done?
Hillmen and Pirates are the things that I compare them to. So they get the +1 to wound around objectives. But what I would like is they're invading, where Thrall is defending. I think you get +1 to wound, or on the opponent's side
in the
of the
opposition.
So if you want to come up against the Ruffians, you've got to keep them back in their half. If they get in your half of the board,
as a general thing in the game, more of that would be good, because all these, like the shooting, you've got a whole thing going on there. Well, yeah, I want to shoot you with my Mirkwood Rangers and my Rivendell elves, but actually then you're going to get into my half.
Then you're going to be in my half. Exactly. So I think that would work. That's like, if that was literally +1 to wound, that is a ridiculous army bonus. That's Strength 5 Ruffians. They could stick them up to 8 points, and then you only need 80 Ruffians instead of 150. And it's fun.
Yeah. I like that.
Because you got to think about it. I think I would genuinely, if they tried to come into my half, you'd circumnavigate and turn the battle that way.
Yeah, I like that. They're not going to be 8 points, but... Yeah.
No, I don't think it will do that, but I would love to see something like that. I could see it also doing something difficult and faffy, like you can burn terrain, but...
you know what? All the heroes will be able to take a captive. When the hero kills a model, they can choose to take an enemy hero captive to get a victory point, up to a maximum of 4, 3.
Yeah, like the Goblin Town and Grinner.
Yeah.
Because they don't have access to banners, and that's another really good upgrade. I'd give it both of them. And then, if they drag it back into their half, even more points. I love that. Okay, so that's the Ruffians. And then the last one then, I think we've got a difference of opinion on, is Army of the Great Eye.
I have 2 ideas for this. I think this is Evil Realms of Men.
I would love that. That would be amazing.
That's what I am pitching. It is a generic list that you have a bit... I mean, they sort of have it because you've got the Pelennor thing, but I think this is a bit more...
Could be... Do you think... So they've got rid of Harad Kings. and Easterlings don't have one. Is it a ring wraith is leading each? Because they're the kings of the different kingdoms, aren't they? So you can take a ring wraith, and then you can pick whatever Easterlings you like. Then you take another ring wraith, and you can pick whatever Harad you like.
Yes.
Orcs with that one, Umbar with that one. Oh, that'd be cool. That would be awesome if that's the case.
And then it's a reason to use all your old ring wraiths that everybody bought.
And then they would get like kudos for that. Aaron, if it's that is we've done it. We've fixed it.
The ring wraiths could get bonus as well, like the Kings of Men. So this ring wraith re-rolls wounds because it's got poisoned attacks. This ring wraith,
they get the betrayer. This ring wraith can spend not lose a will point if it kills someone in combat.
Yeah, this ring wraith goes up to fight. This ring wraith goes up to fight value 6 and gets heroic strike.
They just do what they used to do.
Oh my god! Can you imagine?
That actually would be amazing. Aaron, if you picked that is a great shout.
That's you need this video has to go out before the book lands, because if that is right, that is I mean, I'm definitely wrong, but people that needs. I think the Realms of Men list is interesting. I like that, and I think the Mordor, the evil side, could benefit from it.
Well, Louis is planning on doing Realms of Men for his Throne of Schools this year. If this ends up being that, I'm going to do the opposite. Yeah, that'd be awesome. And for the GT, take good and evil. You could match them up. That'd be great.
Sorry, what's your pitch now that I've kicked it off with the best pitch ever?
I don't know what to write. I just thought it was going to be Mordor and Umbar. There isn't a Mordor and Umbar.
What's it called? Army of the Great Eye.
Army of the Great Eye. Yeah.
You know what? Could it be like Shagrat, Menace Morgul, like that? Like Army of the...
Army of the Great Eye. So it's like all the Third Age orcs together.
Yeah, it's kind of Mordor. Yeah, so Shagrat, Gorbag, Troll Chieftains.
Yeah, I don't mean Third Age. I mean War of the Ring orcs. Yeah. Oh, Troll Chieftain, they're only in Blackgate. It really could be that. And then you've got your access to your ring raids, which you could maybe take in different options.
Troll Chieftains in Barda, yeah.
Troll Chieftains are. Oh, of course they are, yeah, but you've got to take Sauron, yeah, so you don't see them often. Yeah, it probably is that, and it's going to be a very minimal bonus. I think that will probably be the...
But that Realms of the Ring Wraith list.
Here's my pitch for the last and final army list. It's that they FAQ whatever the Army of the Great Eye is to become Realms of Ring Wraith.
Can you imagine Realms of Ring Wraith? I just want that now. I just want that. There's literally I don't want anything more.
We've ended on a down note because we know it's not going to happen.
Fucking great idea. And it's using those old models that we've all got. Leon bought 2 days before they were discontinued, even though I told him not to.
That's all right. At least he didn't then go and cure all that pain and hurt by buying 3 boxes of cataphracts to do his pure cataphract army.
No, he didn't, to be fair. He bought 5.
Oh my God.
So
please let the Easterling cataphracts be good. Please let the Easterling cataphracts be good. Do you know what, though? Do you know what? He doesn't want them to be good. If Easterling cataphracts get the best buff in the game, and then everybody wants to take an army of Easterling cataphracts, he's going to be so gutted.
That'd be brilliant.
Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed that. We really enjoy doing these discussion videos, so if you like that, do like and subscribe so we know to make more of this type of video. They really are fun to make, and speculation videos isn't something we really do. But again, if you've enjoyed it, let us know. And thank you so much to the Patrons. They are keeping the channel going, as I say, every week, but it really, really is true. It takes an awful lot of work to make these kind of videos, so please don't take it for granted. Do like and subscribe. Thank you, Patrons. We'll have a battle put up very soon. Thanks for watching.